Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Monster Hunter World. More specifically, we're going to be talking about the lance. As with all of my weapon videos, this is intended to give you guys some basic notions as to how this particular weapon works, show you guys a couple of interesting moves, and naturally provide you with a reason as to why you should use this weapon over any other weapon in the game. And in the case of the lance, that reason is, how would you like to stand toe-to-toe with the monsters you are fighting? And when I say toe-to-toe, I mean just that. Stand right in their face and take every single attack they can dish out at you, only to block it with your mighty shield and counter it by thrusting your mighty lance all over their face with repeated accuracy and precision, systematically destroying every single part of their body, chopping their tails, just breaking the monster down, whilst always standing tall above him for every single attack that he can possibly dish out at you. Except for the unblockable ones, of course. But before you can actually do that, let's get into some basics, shall we? This right here is the lance, and as you can see, it comes equipped with a big-ass pig skewer that you can use to perforate your foes to your heart's content, as well as a massive shield that you can use to block out any punishment they try to inflict on you. Because you see, the monsters, they dream of the day that they will down a lance user, but that dream is never going to come into fruition because you are the wall, you are unbreakable, and no matter how much punishment they throw at you, you're just gonna go right ahead and throw it right back at them. That right there is the counter thrust, and it is one of the key moves of the lance. But before we get to that, let's talk about how you're going to be dealing out damage. When it comes to the lance, it doesn't really go for a lot of flashy moves or anything of that nature. It's all about practicality. You stick them with the pointy end wherever it happens to hurt. And in this case, if wherever it happens to hurt is on level with you, you hit triangle, you get a mid thrust. If it is above you, you hit circle and you have high thrust. And that is the bread and butter of the lance. You want to hit stuff as often as you can, and you want to hit it whether it's in front of you, whether it's above you. Whenever possible, you want to go for the high thrust because it deals a little bit more damage. You can see right there 31 compared to the mid thrust, which is 29. But always keep in mind that these thrusts come in groups of 3. So for instance, you can go triangle, 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 or circle, circle, circle. And the third hit of the combo is always going to deal more damage. So circle, circle, circle. That last hit was 37. Or triangle, triangle, triangle. That last hit was 37. You can also chain these combos however you see fit. So you can go triangle, circle, triangle, or circle, triangle, triangle. It is completely up to you, okay? Another move that you have access to is the wide sweep, which is basically triangle, circle. Not particularly useful unless you're trying to like sweep something off the ground, like maybe there's a couple of Jagras jumping at you and they're just annoying you. You can sweep them around a little bit. But other than that, I don't see it as a particularly good move. Maybe some of the Lance veterans out there can post in the comments why this particular move is important. But to be honest, I looked over it and I was like, I don't know. Seems to me like your time would be better spent poking at the monster as often as you possibly can. Because even if you use that as the third hit in your combo, the damage is actually less than any other third hit in the combo. So, again, this particular move, I don't know what it's about, but hey, there it is. It is available to you should you choose to use it. So, now you guys are going to ask me, okay, Rurikhan, but it's like, if you can only attack in groups of 3, how am I going to be dishing out that massive damage that you're talking about? How are we going to be doing this? Well, you can link the combos of 3 in different ways. There are, interestingly enough, there's 3 ways for you to link the combos of 3. So the first one is going to be sidestep. So basically, if you sidestep in between the combos, you can reset the combo. So for instance, 1, 2, 3, sidestep, 1, 2, 3, sidestep, 1, 2, 3, sidestep. You can just keep it going how long as you want. And again, remember, these can be mid thrusts or high thrusts, however you prefer. So you can go 1, 2, 3, sidestep, 1, 2, 3. You can also do these side steps actually be to the side. So 1, 2, 3, sidestep, 1, 2, 3, sidestep. So you can sidestep any way you want, and you can keep the combo going that way. You guys are like, oh, Rurikhan, that's not a particularly interesting way to get a combo going. Okay, let me show you another one. So there's a move called guard dash. And the way to do it is basically you block, you move forward, you hit triangle. You move forward or whichever direction you want to move. So if you want to move to the left, triangle there, move to the right, triangle there. This is a movement ability, and any ability that gives you a little bit of mobility when you are using the lance is particularly important, and it is a skill that you should consider mastering, okay? Because say, for instance, right now the monster is directly in front of you, so you're going, oh, yeah. Then the monster moves slightly to the right, and you're like, okay, this is a problem, because now I have to do this to come hit the monster, right? No. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go circle, 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 and then triangle. You're going to try to move. I actually moved forward, but you guys get the idea. Circle, 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 and move to the side with guard dash. Guard dash can be used in any direction that you want. And the interesting thing about guard dash is that it opens you up to do a couple of different things. So for instance, you can do guard dash, like I said, hold R2, press forward, and triangle. And at the end of it, you can hit triangle again for shield slam. That particular shield slam is going to deal impact damage, also known as KO damage if you hit a monster in the face with it. So keep that in mind. You can stun monsters using this particular attack, but it is not a particularly powerful attack, so, you know, usually better used in teams, in my opinion. But hey, completely up to you. It still deals 17 damage, so it's whatever. Also, depending on how much pokes you've already inflicted on the poor beast's skull, it can be all busted up, so you can just come up to it, smack it, and KO it. But there you go. You got a KO move, and on top of it, you can also use circle once you do guard advance to get into a leaping thrust. Okay? So, the leaping thrust naturally is going to move you a little bit further, which again makes it even more important. 1, 2, 3, boom, leaping thrust. And now you're attacking a little bit slightly to the right or to whichever direction you want. So keep this in mind. Mobility stuff. And also at the end of the leaping thrust, naturally, you can continue to combo. Okay? Again, with another 3 moves. So keep this in mind. And now that we've talked about that, let's talk about the counter thrust, which is the third way of doing it. So counter thrust is how you can actually block an enemy's attack and counter it. So let's light up the barrel for this one, shall we? You hit the barrel, R2, circle. Block, you counter with a high thrust, which can then be continued once again into another combo. So, counter, high thrust, high thrust, high thrust. Okay? That right there is your counter move, and that can also be used to chain stuff together. So what happens with counter move is, if you let it go, it will just do a cancel thrust, but if you hold R2 after doing it, and by the way you do it is guard and then circle, so you can just keep holding guard, it will do a counter thrust, which is more powerful. It deals more damage. Ooh, 53. That's a lot more damage than any of your other thrusts, Rurikhan. Yes, the problem, as you can see, is the huge windup that we get. So in the time it takes you to do this for 53 damage, you can also do this. 1, 2, 3 for 99 damage. So forget about just spamming this, okay? You're supposed to use this whenever you're about to take a hit, okay? If you're about to take a hit, you can use that. It will block, it will counter, and it will send you right back into another combo. Because like I said, the key with the lance is repetition. It's about smack, smack, smack. Oh, he's attacking me. Block it. Smack, 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 okay? Now, the other thing is that you can also use it to chain the combos together, like I said. And the way you're going to do that is, instead of keeping R2 pressed, just quickly press R2 in circle, and it will just do a high thrust, and you can instantly continue the combo. So say, for instance, you're going triangle, 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 cancel thrust, triangle, triangle. Okay? Always remember, in threes. So triangle, 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 cancel thrust, triangle, triangle, cancel thrust, triangle, triangle, cancel thrust, or circle, 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 cancel thrust, circle, triangle, cancel thrust. You know, you get the idea. Basically, you can keep on chaining this stuff forever by using the cancel thrust. However, always remember that at some point, you want to actually use this to block attacks. Now, just like the counter thrust, there is another move that you can use that is more powerful than the counter thrust, not in terms of damage, but in terms of defense. So, You use the counter thrust here. Notice that there's a little bit of knockback there and a bit of a delay when your counter actually goes off. If instead you use power guard, which is basically using counter thrust, counter thrust, and then keeping R2 pressed and pressing X, you go into power guard. So if instead of using the counter thrust, I did it too soon there. That's what happens if you use counter thrust too soon. You're still going to get hit. If instead of using that, you go for the power guard, notice the difference in knockback. Your character didn't even budge. And the importance of that is that it's basically going to allow you to instantly perform another counter. Notice how much faster that particular counter was over the regular counter thrust. Naturally, the disadvantage that you guys will no doubt have noticed is the stamina consumption. So whenever you go into power guard, your stamina just drains like nobody's business. And if you run out of stamina, naturally, that is going to happen. There are two counters that you have access to once you go into power guard. There you got the leaping thrust, which is the same if you remember from the guard dash into leaping thrust. Basically moves you slightly forward. Or you have the counter thrust, which is boom, power guard, circle. You have the full counter thrust, which if you guys remember, counter thrust deals a little bit more damage than any other thrust. So you can have access to that actually faster by doing that, but it's still, you should still use this as a counter move and not as a special move that you are trying to pull off. These are going to be your bread and butter skills when it comes to the lance. However, there's also a really cool skill that you can use that allows you to chase down monsters, and I find that skill to be particularly cool. If you hold down your blocking button and you press triangle and circle, your character is going to start running. And basically, he's going to deal multiple hits when you do this. So, like for instance, if we go through this barrel right here, you're going to deal multiple hits, but it's also going to go through your sharpness really, really fast. So keep those things in mind. Now, if you get some balance, if you actually get some balance, you can gain a lot of speed while you are doing this. So, for instance, let's come from here. And that means you're also dealing more damage, and it gives you access to more powerful attacks at the end of the dash. The problem is that our space is somewhat limited here, so trying to get as much speed as possible. There you go. There's the tier 2. Whee! And as you can see, you can then finish it off with a finishing twin thrust, which deals quite a bit of damage. So keep that in mind. It's a really cool skill, and the other thing that you can do while you're doing this is you can actually sidestep off to the sides, or you can jump. So, sorry about that. You can go like this, and sidestep to like dodge things. Always remember, sidestepping also consumes stamina, and this whole skill consumes stamina, so you are limited in your stamina. And you can also jump. And if you do jump, the attacks that you inflict... Oops, sorry. You have to keep pressing forward if you want to jump. These attacks count as mounting damage, which will allow you to mount monsters. Naturally, you can also run up walls and do all kinds of crazy stuff. The other cool thing is that your character doesn't really stop when he's like this, which means, for instance, if you go up against a ledge, your character will automatically navigate that ledge. Like that ledge over there. Your character will navigate it and keep on going. Basically, he keeps on going until he possibly cannot go any longer. Now, the problem with this is that you are actually not blocking when you're doing this. I know it kind of looks like it because the shield's in front of you. Your character is not blocking, okay? So keep that in mind, because if you go up against a monster like this, and the monster happens to hit you with anything, you're going to take damage. And depending on which rank you're playing in, you can be taking a lot of damage because you're like, oh yeah, running is so much fun. And then the monster just smacks you in the face and the fun ends. Okay? So keep that in mind. It is an interesting attack. It's pretty cool when the monsters are running away from you, and you can actually run faster like this than you can by running with your weapon sheath. So for chasing down monsters particularly, I find it useful, but also for getting those mounts if you don't have a ledge or something. Just get this going, then press forward. Sorry, I hit that barrel. Get this going, press forward, hit X, and attack. And you'll be attacking in the air. Every single hit you deal is mounting damage, and your character has a chance of mounting the monster. When it comes to the sliding attack, you basically get yourself an advancing jump, and your character goes into a dash attack immediately afterwards. So keep that in mind. Always remember that in order to break, you can guard or hit X, and your character will stop running. Just in case you're running, you're like, oh no, stop! Just hit X, he stops. Or you're running, hit R2, he will stop and start blocking. The other thing that you can do is as you are sliding down, you can block so that you're ready for whatever the monster throws at you. And when it comes to jumping, you have the same options. You can jump and you can block. Block can actually go into a dash attack once you jump, like that. And you can also just do a regular jumping attack. Oops, sorry. Sometimes I forget that you're supposed to hit X stopping or hit R2 stop. But you get a regular jump. That is also mounting damage, and that will also allow you to mount the monster. Now, I realize that watching through this video, you might come away from it thinking, oh, the lance looks like a much simpler weapon than any of the other weapons Rurikhan has shown us before. But to be completely honest, the strength of the lance, in my opinion, is in its versatility to hit specific spots in a monster with pinpoint accuracy. That high thrust can tear through a monster's head in a matter of minutes. It can chop tails like nobody's business. I mean it. Do not underestimate how powerful this weapon is, because it is essentially about really deconstructing the monster. It is about breaking every single part you could possibly want in any order you could possibly want, because like I said, the lance is a very precise weapon, and that precision as well as its versatility is what makes it a really good weapon. Good lance users will tell you that they can basically do whatever the hell they want with a monster, and there's very little the monster can actually do to them because of the high blocking capabilities, because of what I said at the start of this video. You are the wall. You are unbreakable. No monster is going to kill you, and in turn, anything they dish out at you, you will be throwing it right back at them in the places that it hurts them the most. Whether that is their face, whether that is their wings, whether that is their tail. I feel that the lance is probably the most accurate melee weapon once you master its moveset. And that, my friends, is why the lance is so good. As per usual, remember to check out the comment section to delve deeper into lance discussion, because the Iron Breakers are here to help, and they will provide you with answers to any questions you might have about the lance. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think about it in the comment sections below, and I will see you guys in the next one.